And we're live. I think we're live. You never quite know.
We're live.
Good afternoon. Back with Lockdown Lunchtime live. And episode 6. Back with Bookish Mindset.
Hello.
Zeman Zone. Danny Z PT.
Yes.
Nikki, welcome back. And me, the Pac-Man, personal accountability coach.
All the plugs.
All the plugs. Sign up to my email. Make sure you get my blog posts. Danny's blog posts. Nikki's email.
Nikki's boxes.
Get your Nikki's boxes. Sign up to my coaching. Sign up to Danny's PT. Your life sorted.
Yeah, it sounds like that, Danny. Yeah.
Get your knicker boxes.
That's exactly what I thought it said.
Get Nikki's boxes. Get your knicker box. That's what you should have called them. You should have called them the knicker box. Oh, that would have been much better.
Oh, good God. Happy Friday.
It's Friday. You just removed the card. You asked me whether it was appropriate, and look where we are already. Okay, children, are you ready? The Daily Stoic. So today's page inspired today's conversation. February 12th, protect your peace of mind. I'm only going to read part of it, but there's the last sentence, or the last paragraph, sorry. So yes, use Stoicism to manage these difficulties, but don't forget to ask, is this really the life I want? Every time you get upset, a little bit of life leaves the body. Are these really the things on which you want to spend the priceless resource? Don't be afraid to make a change, a big one. And I said before, I think the Daily Stoic always seems to ring a bell, no matter what place that you're in.
It always seems
But
relative.
I thought this was really relevant for because it was part of another part of the paragraph in there that says, "Or our adrenal glands can handle only so much before they become exhausted. Should you preserve them for life and death situations?" You know, so I kind of thought, and it was a bit of mention about like emails, and I can kind of see that transition for us. Like we're all in day jobs, but we're all trying to move away and into our own gigs, and it doesn't necessarily mean that your own gigs is easier, but because you're passionate about it, it's not as stressful, or not as painful, maybe, rather than stressful, because there is still the pressures and care. And Danny, you said something to me the other night about stress. What was it?
Yeah, I was saying that if you flip the way you perceive stress as it being something that you're stressed, it's something is giving you that reaction because you deeply care about it and you're devoted to it, then the perspective of it changes. So if you're stressed about work, it's actually because you take pride in your work and you want it to be right, or you deeply care about your work ethic. If you're stressed about your children, it's because you care about them, obviously. Well, I should hope so. So there is the way that you can change the narrative in your head to kind of turn the negative feeling of stress into something that's to be grateful for, in a way.
I'd agree.
Yeah, definitely.
What's your thoughts about that last line? Don't be afraid to make a change, a big one.
Who?
Nikki.
Me? Nikki.
Okay. I like it as a line, but I think it's very much easier said than done. I think there's a lot of fear and trepidation which comes with making big changes. And I think a lot of the time it's a bit easier said than done. It's, yeah, I'll move house. Yeah, I want to do that. Hold on, look at all the minor details. It doesn't mean that it's not a good thing, but there's a lot that goes into those big changes. There's maybe a lot of planning. There's a lot of risk assessment. Yeah, don't be afraid. But if you are afraid, it's okay. Plan it. try and avoid the pitfalls. The more planning you can do, maybe the more pitfalls you avoid, kind of thing. Yeah, that's from experience. I know the big changes are the scariest ones because they take you out of your comfort zone. but that doesn't mean they're the wrong decisions. That fear, that worry, that stress might be because it's absolutely what you need. Might be.
Yeah. I think we always worry about the end goal, the what ifs, and
Yes.
we worry about the end result, which is obviously it's natural. But I try to always see, like, from my perspective, from moving from South Africa to here, that was a massive change for me. And I just thought, what if it goes wrong? Oh, but what if it goes right? You know? And so far, so good, I hope. 4 years in, and it's going quite okay, you know, but it was a big thing for me, and it was a big change for me, but it was a change that I needed. And I always try to think that what's the worst that could happen, you know?
Change as good as a break, as they say.
Don't they say that?
They do say. Have you not heard that before?
No.
Like that.
No, I don't either. I don't know.
And well, maybe I say it. And often I think the big change is actually the easier one. It's when you have to make lots of small changes. That's the hard ones because they're small. Like you don't maybe care about them as much. Whereas the big ones you really care about. You're often quite passionate about them sometimes. But, yeah, I mean, if it's like you might be passionate about it, but you might not have done it. Like I don't know. But pick divorce, for example. I've never been in that situation, but that's a massive change. And it's something that you might feel really passionate about happening, but you don't make that change because it's so scary and difficult, and it means actually having to have conversations, things like that. You mentioned about moving house or going to start your own business. There's probably, I don't know, I'm just going to put a number out there, like 10 to 15 massive changes in your lifetime. That where they're that much of a spin in your life, where your life is going to change. You have completely changed direction. But within your life, how many tiny changes do we make all the time? We're always adjusting. Or at least I think you go back to last week's conversation with a growth mindset. I think you're always adjusting, making small changes to fit with other people, to fit with yourself, to change. But those big, massive, like lifetime changes, you're not going to have them come around every week, are you?
No, else they wouldn't be big anymore, would they?
Don't you think it's weird that every day you think that things are exactly the same as they go by, but a few years pass on and things have changed? Like
correct.
There are small increments of your day that actually change that snowball effect into years without you even realizing it.
Plants growing, one of them.
Mind blown, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's where habits come into play. Because they have that compound effect. Yeah.
It's those tiny little incremental steps that then eventually they add up and you can see it.
Yeah, exactly. And in terms of like the daily Stoic and today's passage, we're kind of choosing what you want to trigger you. Like, I think that's a good thing because you kind of stress about small things, don't you? And then when it comes to the big things, then you stress even more. Whereas you could be kind of detaching from all these small things and then just focus your energy onto something that's more, I don't know, productive. And like they say, choose what you use, choose your resources and what you use to spend them on as well.
Yeah. Resources are... Danny's just blowing my mind with all these thought-provoking questions.
I've done a lot of research these past few weeks. A lot of self-reflection.
Yes.
And me as well. I think I'm up to about 75 daily journals that I'm doing, where I'm questioning different parts of my life. But
that's good though.
Questions I'm asking, like, I think Danny, you said to me last night as part of our PT about how you were calling yourself out on some of your bullshit. And I think journaling's partly about that as well, but it's also about an investigation sometimes into things and just questions about life. And sometimes it's a bit of celebration about yourself or realizing you have come a long way. You're realizing what you have in your life. But since I've done that in the last kind of like 2 weeks, and I've spoken about journaling and I've tried it, but when I've actually said no, before anything else in a day, you are doing this, I feel like I've achieved a lot with you and looking at change.
Yeah.
You know, and it's actually slowed myself down in places.
And
Because
it's not actually, yeah, you're not actually as fearful of change.
no, once you
You're
work it out,
quite
you
open
realise
to
it's-
it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Which is going back to last week in the mindsets, isn't it? Yeah.
I saw something that provoked a thought. I can't remember the last couple of days on Instagram, and it was like a moany like meme, but it said, "Oh yeah, my life is only worth $9 an hour. Tell you what, stick it, mate," or something like that. I don't know if the words were quite right. And I thought, I wonder if, like, you calculate how much money you make just doing a basic job, and you know, not even just a basic job, but like a 20 quid an hour, which is often like, that's a good number to be earning. You think, I'm earning 20 quid an hour, I'm doing all right. Well, what if that over your lifetime, if I said to you, you only earn $384,000, that is your life's worth in monetary terms, not in all the other stuff that we get from life, but if that was all your life was worth, so £384,000, which is less than the price of a house, or just around the price of a house, but that is your life's earnings. Is it worth it? When you think, oh, I can't leave that job because I've got to go and start my business, or you know, because I've got to stay here. Really? When you think about it in that sort of, like, we're being fucked over. My life's worth more than that. You know, if I asked you what your price on your head, you thought your price on your head would be, you know, how much you'd hope that you were worth at least $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a funny way of thinking of it, yeah.
And it just sort of set in my head just from seeing that one. I was like, no, I'm worth more than that.
So it better be a nice house then, isn't it?
Do I get to renovate it? Do I get to play with
a little bit of feng shui in there?
Do whatever you like with your house. Absolutely.
That's what we're worth.
Yeah,
Jeez.
you know, that's all we're worth. We're just considering that some people's got that just like ding, somebody just made that, by the way. Somebody just made your lifetime's earnings.
Yeah, that's mad.
I'm going to stop it because it's not all about money. It isn't all that life is worth way more than money. But
that's what I was going to say. Do you weigh out the pros and cons of kind of being fulfilled with earning less or earning more, but that's your number and you're kind of stuck with that?
But I think a lot of people are not fulfilled earning that money. But that money, even though how small it is, stops them going to be fulfilled.
By doing the other things in their life that they want to do. They're
not fulfilled and it's not financially rewarding, but yet they feel stuck.
Yeah.
And well, I think if somebody was in that position and they were thinking, they actually thought, well, I'd say, no, I'm not fulfilled and no, I'm not financially, they'd walk tomorrow. Like, you'll be all right. You'd get through it. You'd negotiate with your landlord to pay them back, and at some other point, you would just use your overdraft. I know you don't just walk out your job today, everybody.
Trying not to comment too much on all of that. There's a lot of privilege associated. Let's
take the weekend.
In an ideal world, isn't it? Yeah.
You can't. We've still got mortgages and stuff to pay, but don't let that stop you starting to make that change and start to do
Cogs can start turning.
And you'll find it quite surprising that when you are under the pressure that you have to make ends meet, but you want to do your own thing, that you'll actually find a way to make it work.
Because it's a must rather than a want.
Yeah. So your drive, you're driven by this pressure. And I think sometimes that's good when you're just thrown in hot water, you know. I think that's where the real growth is when it's outside your comfort zone and you're just thrown in without going at your own pace. There's proper depth to that.
And yeah, like, how do you learn to swim? Get thrown at the deep end. It's like, yeah,
With armbands.
survival instincts kick in.
It's very philosophical.
So, well, we started with the philosophy. But how does that, right? So, yes, I think automatically you read that page and you think that's business. But what about fitness? What about the other side? These big changes. If you're thinking, I don't know, weight loss, walking into a gym,
Bench pressing, yeah.
bench pressing. Do you not bench press, Nikki?
Hmm?
Do you not bench press?
I haven't got a bench.
Fair
Oh,
enough.
Danny, that is no excuse, is it, to not be starting your pressing? As I learned last night, you don't need a bench.
If you've got a floor,
I meant lifting a
weight.
certain amount of weight. That's what I meant.
Yeah,
Reaching for an arbitrary number.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
In terms of change and stress related to change, I think that, like I said before, you can flip it around and make it something that you care about. So if you care about your health, instead of being fearful of this change or walking into the gym and stuff, kind of find it liberating, or find liberation in the fact that you're actually making these big changes to become a better you. So again, it's all the narrative in your head to say, right, I'm making these changes. Yes, it's incredibly terrifying. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, but number one, first step of success is showing up. And number two, in 6 months' time, I'm going to probably be a regular, not even a month's time. I'm going to be a regular here, and I'm going to have my routine and stuff, but everyone has to start somewhere. But yeah, it's easier to, if you're doing personal development and stuff and you reflect on these things, it's easy to say, flip your mindset, change the narrative, say this instead of this. But I understand that as a newbie, it is terrifying. But all you have to try to do is say, especially when you walk into a gym, just try and say, everyone started somewhere. Everyone
was new once.
Exactly.
Everyone was new once, yeah.
Everyone was new ones, and this is just the beginning. This is step one. That's the biggest step. The biggest step is walking in there. Even if you're in there for 5 minutes, turn around, go back in tomorrow, 10 minutes, turn around, 15 minutes. By the end of the week, you run half an hour or something. But you have to start. If you want something, you have to start. That's it. And it's all how bad you want it.
Yeah, and I guess that's you making sure your why is important. If you're doing it for yourself for health reasons, great. If you're doing it because you want to potentially please someone else, then that's maybe not the best motivator.
Yeah, because
I think your why is very important, and not just help, very much in health and fitness, but in lots of different things. If your why is strong enough and important enough, then it will drive you on the days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think finding your why, but like you said, it's got to be big enough. But it can be big enough and you still not care about it. Think of somebody who's had 3 heart attacks and have never changed anything in between. The life is still not important. Like, you can have a massive why, and it is good to have that why, and I do promote that. But if your why is to go to the gym to lose 10 pounds, you're not probably going to do it.
No, but it needs to be something that speaks to you. It's got to be important to you. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to question the why then, is it?
Yeah. Is that a big enough why? Maybe big enough isn't the right word, but it's got to be important to you. It's got to be enough to drive you on those days where it is an obvious motivation, perhaps. Determination, not motivation.
Exactly. And discipline.
Discipline, exactly.
I asked a question that got quite a good response on social media a while ago, but it's around weight loss or around losing something or changing something that is a negative thing. So like weight loss rather than weight gain. Like, it's a loss, not a gain.
Yeah.
And I said, well, is that just in the terminology with that? I need to lose weight. Well, you're losing something.
Yeah, you're not good enough as you are, therefore you need to lose.
And loss,
It's very negative thinking,
it is
isn't it?
negative, but also loss is the highest driver of anxiety than anything. So and we have a fear of loss. Especially when we've gained something, we fear losing it, and we might not think of weight like that. We have gained this, and our bodies have naturally stored it for the rainy day. So for you to lose the rainy day, that's money. But if you're to lose it, then my body naturally is going to say, "Oh no, but I needed that. I can't."
It's going to fight it, isn't it? Yeah.
It is going to fight it, and your brain's going to fight that thought. So you have to try and think of another way to spin it around rather than loss.
Yeah, I flip it around. Instead of saying things like weight loss journey, I'll say fitness journey, because that for me entails everything. So whether you're losing weight, building muscle, building on nutrition, you have a performance goal, strength goal, anything like that, that is your journey. And there's no connotations on it or anything like that. It's just, this is your path. And instead of saying things like a 28-day challenge or something like that, it's a journey, the same as yoga. It's just something that's not, it doesn't put that stress factor on. It's kind of like, right, I'm doing this for the better, it's an adventure, it's exploring, things like that. It's bettering yourself. So I think that, yeah, the terminology that you use has a massive effect on the change itself.
I think as well is about looking at what am I going to gain. So by being lighter, what does that allow me to do? It gains, I don't know if you're a female who struggles with like PCOS or something like that. By weight loss, you might gain the ability to be able to have children. Or if I'm losing weight as a man, what I might gain is 5 years of my life.
Yeah.
Or I might gain the ability to be able to run around the park with my hopeful future children. Or I might gain the girl that I dream of. Or and for everybody it's
different.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, what am I going to get? And then that gives you a why. Then it's a positive why. What am I gaining by putting myself through this, or what it's about? What that gain is. So yeah, I think that sometimes as well you look at the big change as what am I going to gain out of this?
It's the end result. But
Yeah.
it's a journey as well.
Yeah, but what can you gain from the journey? Like, so I watched Undercover Billionaire. If you haven't watched it, I'd really rate it on Discovery. And we're just laughing because Nikki's she's not just turning your back on it. She's taking a call, which is really important.
She's just taking a 5-minute break from us.
Yeah. I think it's because we saw on Facebook and I'm like, what's she doing?
Yeah.
So for the purpose of our viewers, I will still carry on talking. And funny enough, that's lost my train of thought. I didn't think it would. But what do you like? So Danny, I'm now just going to talk to Danny because there's not about 3 people. But
hey.
Where was I, Danny? Can you help me out?
You were. Oh no, I lost my train of thought.
But get Undercover Billionaire. Thank you very much. Well done. Let's have
right. Oh, do you know what? Here all times, all week.
So I watched that, and this lady it's a typical American show. Like guy drifts into town, nobody knows who he is.
Oh,
and he sets up this bit. He helps everybody set up this business they're all part of. And then he gives them some money, and it's not about the money that makes them feel great. It's what he gave them. And this woman said, but it's not about the money that he's giving. He's given me so much more. He's given me confidence. He's given me the ability to move in and start my own business. And I think it's about actually what do these things give us? These massive changes give us all these new things that we gain along the way. And weight loss or being fitter, how often do you see, Danny, of that? Because for me it happened where there's a change in confidence, and it happens with people when people make money maybe for the first time. There's suddenly a change in confidence when people go into a sales job, and you've done sales, make their first sale, or they start their own business and they get their first customer.
Oh yeah,
confidence level changes is
You know what the thing for me is, like, I noticed that the moment you start seeing results, or you see changes, you see a visualization of the changes happening in front of you, then that's what motivates you more. So the motivation comes from action, which comes from results, which comes from motivation, and that's what drives you forward in a way. But in terms of confidence, it kind of makes you want to branch out into other aspects. So yeah, you're on your fitness journey, but now I've got the confidence to, I don't know, go talk to that girl that I keep seeing in the gym, or ask my boss for a pay raise. So you can create these byproducts of smaller changes in your life from confidence built up in one factor of it, if that makes sense.
It's amazing what that momentum is that it gives you.
Yeah, exactly. And then just you're on a roll, aren't you? You're on a mother effing roll, and then next thing you know, you're just a badass boss.
And but I think, just talking about confidence there, isn't it funny that as soon as you get comfortable, actually your confidence seems to drain at the same time.
What it seems to drain.
Yeah, like because you built up all this confidence where you can achieve everything,
Oh yeah.
and then all of a sudden you're like, cool, yeah, I'm comfortable. I go to the gym 3 days a week. I do this, and then your confidence levels are not like as buzzing. So then you need to step and level up again. Lockdown level up, daddy is back. Then you level up again, to level up again, and you get this new boost of confidence. And then the world's like, you can take on anything. And then eventually you get comfortable at that level, and the confidence levels dries up, and then you've got to give yourself a kick up the arse and move to the
Yeah.
next.
But like you say, it's like that momentum of it. So that's what keeps you driving forward. If you already, when you know it's time for a new challenge, that's probably a good sign that you're ready to level up, until you've built this entire empire. And I don't think that there's an actual end goal where, okay, I'm confident and I'm comfortable now.
There's no destiny. I think what people fail to realize is that there's no pearly gates.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
And you
maybe
have,
nobody knows what happens when you close your eyes for the last time, and that's it. But there's no this big destination where suddenly you're going to be, live the life of 1,000 virgins or whatever. It was like,
what do you mean? So I was talking to
there's another question now. I was about to say, why is that seen as a a good thing for, like, in a man's eyes? Oh yeah, to sleep with it's not necessarily, but
that's a controversial topic for another day.
For men, but why is that not a woman's? Nikki's come back right at the right time.
Well,
just about to go down this. Nikki just saved me, I think. But yeah. There is no final destination, Danny, because once you get to the I don't know why we're whispering.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But there's no there's no, like, you might get to the service station as it was, or the passing place, but then you've got to go again.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh yeah, well actually when I lose 5 stone, suddenly I'll be in my fitness goal.
No, you've got to enjoy the process, and you've got to be happy in the now. You've got to find happiness and joy in today. Because if you keep constantly wanting to improve and you've got your eye on the goal, you're never going to be present in the moment. And then what is a life worth having if you're constantly looking for the next best thing?
You'll never be satisfied.
Yeah, enjoy the change for what's happening along the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Enjoy it. It's about enjoy the process.
Yeah.
The big change is not a big change, is it? It's 1,000 small changes. There's I feel like James Smith when he had his little birds and stuff, and and he get the leaf blower that's interrupting him. Obviously, we don't. But you've got this like it's going to start with one change, isn't it? Like if I'm going to lose weight, it starts with that first decision to choose the apple over the chocolate bar. Yeah, or it starts with that first decision to log my breakfast today. Or learn about calories. And then you build on that, and it's got another, and there's another change. And don't be that big changes are also not going to happen. Like I go to bed and suddenly I've made the change.
Oh no.
I'm going to be a CEO. Oh shit! I'm not a CEO. It's like honest. I'm going to run 100 meters faster than Usain Bolt. Oh fuck! I'm still fat. Like, but you've. Can you imagine if you decided you were going to change? Cool.
How great would that be?
Buy the upgrade.
Yep.
I'll have the Usain Bolt package, please. Thank you very much.
Upgrade to premium. The trial is over now.
Amazing.
You can have the Usain Bolt, but you've got the Usain Bolt after he's stopped running and he's started finding cake.
They are bolt-ons.
Bolt-ons.
Oh. Very good.
Well, there might be some news about bolt-ons coming soon, might there, Danny?
Yeah.
That's me just reminding Danny that what she's committed to within a coaching session.
Tuesday.
Danny, when I call myself accountability coach, I'm not ruled out doing it publicly and on a podcast.
I was just about to say, you just this call-out culture. I'm not agreeing with this. If you get that, okay.
I obviously don't do that with all my clients. So, it's just to clarify that. But yeah, I've just rabbited on for a while, which I usually do. But we're just about the end out of time because that phone call Nikki took was about something very important that she's doing at 1 o'clock, and it's probably right we give Nikki that time to do that because she's always gives so much to the podcast.
Duty calls.
Duty calls.
Yeah, exactly. the real job is kicked back in. All of a sudden, this fantasy about running your own business has not quite kicked in yet, has it?
Well, very much.
I do know that
enjoying it.
Nikki has been busting her ass off this week, doing like
honestly, she's
17 and 18-hour days to try and get her first book box out. So. Is that what it's called? Your knickerboxers.
We're not calling them knickerboxers. We're not calling them knickerboxers.
No, you are now.
No, I'm not having it.
I'll be like, where's my knickerbox gone?
Don't worry, Ali. We'll do it.
Oh God.
Or you could have called it Knickerboxer Glory.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not. No.
Oh, let's cut it there.
Right.
I'm sure everybody enjoys our podcasts. But yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Danny. Any last plugs from you?
No, you can find me right here.
Other side.
Other side.
Oh, mine.
At Zeman Zone.
At Zeman Zone, yes.
Loads of cool free content. And you can find me at a personal accountability coach.
And you can find me at the Bookish Mindset.
There we go. Thank you very much for listening. I'm sure we'll get that out hopefully later today. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody.
Happy Valentine's Day as well.
And we will speak to you all next week.
Bye.
See you next week, guys.
See you later.